Warning: the following visual novel contains subject matter that some viewers may find sensitive and perhaps even distressing. For example, this visual novel touches upon issues of xenophobia, anti-LGBT prejudice, toxic masculinity, abusive behaviour, and also sexual assault and the trauma that it inflicts upon its victims. This does mean that certain scenes within the game will likely make many players feel uncomfortable. If you have ever been a victim of xenophobia, anti-LGBT prejudice, abuse or violence, especially including of a sexual nature, then please be aware of this before you watch this playthrough. And please rest assured that the words and actions of certain characters within this visual novel should not be taken to reflect the views of either myself as a Let's Player or of the devs who made the game. For full disclosure, I am a supporter of LGBT rights. I am a supporter of challenging and tackling xenophobia and prejudice of any kind, and I am also well aware of the trauma suffered by victims of violence and abuse, and the need to therefore treat them with sympathy and support. The General Red Strategist channel is meant to be a safe space where people of all walks of life can come and enjoy my content. Thank you for listening to this. I just wanted to make this clear, as I felt that some of the issues touched upon in this visual novel could be shocking for some. Okay, we're back in. Okay, panic averted. Fortunately, my previous save was literally right before this section, so don't click on what Bori is saying there, basically. Is it something related to Cosmos from Brigada? Nope. I know this meme. Contact. Hopefully this time we'll succeed. 54321. Poland. You rock. Actually, it's a proper noun, and you can explain only common nouns. However, I didn't warn you about it, so let's count it this time. Thanks. Then will you name the next letter? Of course, it's Y. Relationship with more than one partner. No, it's not polyamory. Oh. People sort of flash like that every so often in the background. I guess it's like showing people are thinking or something. It was time to step in again. Which word should I try to explain now? Polynomial? Polymers? Polydactyly? Human body anomaly? Okay, let's go with that one then. My mum once told me that when I was born she first counted my fingers. It was because my granny had polydactyly and she was afraid that I may have inherited it. Apologies if I'm butchering that pronunciation. It's an anomaly some humans have. No, it's not polydactyly. What's it? It's when people have more fingers or toes than they are supposed to. It's a principle in programming. Nastya then repeated it, but everyone was silent. Nastya looked hopefully at Kira, but she just shook her head. It's a shame that I don't remember it. Can I just say my word then? Go on. Is it polymorphism? It is. Yes. Buria held out his palm and Nastya high-fived. Sorry if the word is too complicated, I just thought of this word because recently I'd taken an additional course in programming at the university. You know, I've had a little break just before I resumed recording, after that crash then. Had my evening meal, basically. And I just checked out the recording time. We've been going for well over 3 hours, actually, at this point. So this is bigger than I actually thought it was going to be, which is quite remarkable, considering this is freely available on Steam. You don't need to pay any money for it. So, yeah. Yeah, sure, maybe you just felt an urge to show off. Mark pretended not to hear. Nastya, and how do you know about this term? Do you also code? Nastya seemed to be embarrassed. I've started oh wait, that's not Mark. I've started attending a Python course 2 months ago. That's a useful thing to do. But why? Are you disappointed in journalism? No, I really like journalism, but I want to emigrate after I graduate from the university. And for someone who works in IT, it's much easier to relocate. And where exactly do you want to move to, if I may ask? Haven't decided yet, but somewhere in Europe. Probably Scandinavia, for example, Sweden? Vitya suddenly perked up. To Sweden? There are only gays and migrants there. Girls on the streets are raped and... Wow. Wow, dude. Dude? You want to fucking explain yourself there? In Russian state propaganda, Scandinavia is presented as a region populated by sodomists and criminal migrants. For example, there's a TV show in which it was stated that there is a brothel for zoophiles in Denmark. Wow. Damn, son. Well, that's... I think we need to drill some sense into you. There was an awkward silence on the phone. On the plane, even. Vadim nodded vigorously. Yes, that's right. In their schools they teach kids how to be... Wow, we're getting controversial here. I mean, the thing is, though, like, gotta be honest, you hear about some of the stuff they do say on Russian state TV, it's just like, fucking, what the hell? Why would you say stuff like that? I've been waiting for this moment for so long and it's finally here. I don't care that no one is likely to understand the reference, I just have to say it. Vitya, have you forgotten which city you live in? Well, in Barnaul, so what? That's right, Vitya, Barnaul. Altai Cry. What are you getting at here, Nick? What, a Russian meme? Doctor, lately I worry a lot about future of Western civilization. Lefties, FJW, feminazis are taking everything from me. How can we stop this genocide? Lefties, SJW, are you insane? What the fuck are you talking about? You live in Barnaul. Barnaul, Altai Cry. Okay, we're getting very political in this one, all of a sudden. If I was a comedian, it would be the peak of my career. I was hoping for at least some reaction from the audience. Oh god, I just flicked back again. My hope was justified. Mark, Nastya, and oddly enough Elisa, grinned, and Boria burst out laughing. Meanwhile, Vitya was clearly confused. Is it a meme or something? Something like that. This is a comic in which the patient tells the psychologist how she cares about the fate of Western civilization, and she reminds the patient that she lives in Barnaul. Vitya was not offended. Vadim, though, looked unhappy. Yeah, so what? If you live in Barnaul, you're not allowed to say that Swedes are that. Oh god, Mitrich, don't you suddenly join in as well. And I also saw on TV there are brothels for zoophiles there, and they rate turtles there. Okay, you'll need to learn some critical thinking, seriously. That was in Denmark. Vitya said it as if he was an expert. But I believe it's the same in Sweden. If we survive and they make a film about us, it will not be a disaster movie, but probably a zombie film. Wow. Okay. You know what? At first I was a bit sort of, okay, where are we going with this? What are we saying? This sounds very fucking offensive. But I'm kind of glad that the game is actually challenging that. Because, yeah, like, there's so much fucking far-right fucking bullshit out there on the internet that says crap like that. And it's just like, anyone with even an ounce of critical thinking can instantly see that it's fucking bullshit. It's all just lies, propaganda, and just fucking xenophobia, basically. Sweden, of course, has its problems, but I'm sure they jail rapists there just like in every other country, and turtles are safe too. And it's also good when half the money you earn is taken away by the state. Alice unexpectedly joined the conversation. No, but that's the price of a welfare state. It suits some people. I have to admit that the argument between Mark and Alice was more interesting to listen to than the stories of an old person who watched Channel 1 too much, I'm guessing that meant to say. Whoa, so you're a leftist? A leftist economist is such a funny thing. I'm not a leftist, Alyssa. I just happen to understand that people have different views and needs. I don't really like the Scandinavian welfare state model with its equalisation, but it has its advantages. Alice turned away deliberately. Look, this world is complicated. Sometimes it's not enough to just a shrug. Damn, you guys started it again. Are you going to play or what? I think we've had enough. Thank you for organising all this, Kira. Well done. Yes, thank you. There was tension in the group. Alice didn't get along with almost anyone, especially with Mark, whom Kira also hated. Vadim seemed to be constantly looking for a reason to fight, and Mitrich often echoed him. Vitya infuriated many. Boria and Nastya communicated only with each other, and Lisa devoted all her time to her patients. So is this kind of like setting up the idea that there's going to be conflict in the group? Interesting. So we're seeing kind of multiple potential sources of discord in this group in terms of past relationships between certain individuals, now obviously like political views, and just, you know, misinformation and things like that. Optimistic Tonya and Andre stood out among others, and Kira's activities started to please me rather than annoy me, but it seems that Kira also began to get tired. Guys, please, let's leave this talk about politics and go to bed. Tomorrow's going to be a hard day. Happy New Year to everyone once again. Everyone muttered something in response and scattered to their places. I also went to prepare for another hard day. Okay, Chapter 8. Going back to Kira. Got some tea down. Oh boy. You know, so far, there were certain characters who I was actually quite liking to begin with. Like Vitya and Mitrich. Now I'm not so sure whether I should be so quick to like them. The last time I ate was the day before yesterday when we celebrated the New Year. Today, all I could think of was food. Lack of food, to be precise. I really didn't want to go anywhere in the cold, but I understood that the bags with food wouldn't come to us by themselves, so I quickly packed up and was rushing the others. Guys, if you don't stop stalling, then we'll leave at night. Right, literally and split up into groups. There were 10 of us, because Lisa stayed in the cabin with the wounded and Nick got sick. A few days ago he said that he wasn't feeling well, and Lisa forbade him to leave the camp. I hope he recovers soon. It would be best to divide into groups of 2 people and continue the search in 5 directions. What did you come up with this time? How can there be more than 4 directions? Mark gave Vadim a withering look. Why should there be only 4 of them? If you're talking about the cardinal points, then they have nothing to do with it. We're just exploring paths that we can get through. Let's split faster. We should be more organised. We are together, of course you are. I had a feeling. Our sweet couple seem to be waiting for this moment. Great, now we have 1 pair. Who else? I'm ready to go with anyone except Mark. Well, god damn. People are, a bit, wow, that was quick. I mean, granted, sure, you have bad blood between you, but it's one of those situations. It's one of those situations where you might just have to put that behind you. Vadim gave a nasty laugh in response to my statement, and I immediately regretted saying it. Mark himself showed no emotion, as always. Want to come with me, then? With pleasure. Andre stood beside me. Next. Vadim, let's go together. Oh wait, that's not the right voice. Sure, Uncle Mitya. The remaining 4 looked at each other. I was pretty sure that Mark and Elisa don't want to go together. Elisa didn't get along with anyone, but she seemed to hate Mark more than the others. Last time Mark took Nick with him, but since the boy got sick, he was left without a companion. You and I better pair up with one of the guys. What if we find bags and have to carry them? You don't think we can handle it ourselves? We can, but why should ladies overstrain if we can take strong gentlemen with us? Are we really going down this path? Fine. I don't think Elisa agreed with Tonya. She was just too lazy to argue. Tonya turned towards Vitya and Mark, and after a moment's pause spoke to the latter. Mark, aren't you afraid of carrying heavy bags? Not as much as I'm afraid of starving to death. I wonder if she turned to Mark because she realised that he wouldn't want to go with Elisa, or for some other reason? I guess the former. Every day I'm more and more convinced that Tonya is much smarter and more observant than I thought when I met her. Then you come with me. Tonya went up to Mark and slightly hugged him. Mark didn't react in any way, though he seemed a bit surprised. During my relationship with him, I learned to recognise some of his carefully hidden emotions. If I still had any feelings for Mark, I would be jealous. Then we go together. Fine! It's not fine at all. Don't you dare start getting on my nerves with your chatter. Meanwhile, Mark began to tell about the directions in which we should perform the search and invited each of the groups to choose a route for themselves. Andre listened very carefully to these instructions, and when it was time to choose, he volunteered first. I was glad I didn't have to memorise all the details. After some time, when each group got a route, we all wished each other good luck and hit the road. Still can't that 2 of the group of 16... Okay, I should probably say I still can't believe that 2 of the group of 16 survivors turned out to be my acquaintances. It happens when you fly to small towns. Yeah, were you flying home too? I was going to visit my brother. That doesn't even sound French at all. You have a brother? Oui, and he even went to the same school with us. Is he older or younger? 2 years younger. Ah, then it's unlikely I know him. I was mostly hanging out with the older kids at that time. I see. There was a silence for a moment. I was afraid that Andre wouldn't say anything more, and I'd have to look for another topic, but then he spoke. Have you seen anyone from the class since graduation? God, I butchered that completely. Since graduation? Yes, once. How long ago? Last year. They gather every year, but I was only able to attend once. I would never fly from Moscow just to meet them, but that time I was in Barnaul and thought, why not? How was it? What did you discuss? Well, nothing special. Those who attended tried to show off and gossiped about those who were absent. I found out who works where, how much money they get, who they sleep with. We also spoke about Lena. So you definitely are the Andre we knew. Because you wouldn't bring that up. Hearing the last sentence, Andre perked up. Really? And what did they say? Were they making guesses again? Sort of. Everyone shared their guesses. Someone suspected hobos who allegedly spent the night in the underpass. Someone accused her grandfather. Why did he come under suspicion? They said he drank a lot. Galia told that she saw how he came to pick up Lenka? I should probably say Lena, not Lenka, from school totally wasted. Sorry, just gulping more tea down. So what? I think this is not enough to accuse a person of murder. Of course it isn't. Do you think I would believe Gallia's speculations? By the way, there was a dude who said that Lena was attacked by the aliens. Which dude? Yurka. Who else could have said something like that? Do you remember him? Such a tall, strange guy. I don't. Wait, how long have you studied with us? Till the end of the 9th grade. Then in summer we left Barnaul. Ah, so right after the murder? It turns out so. Okay, I remember now. Don't understand how everything managed to wipe from my memory so fast. Not that much time has passed. Well, it's been almost 9 years since the 9th grade. Yeah, that's right. Wow, time flies. Talking with Andre about school life, even about not the best of its parts, was more pleasant than discussing our rescue plans and chances of survival over and over. It's good that we get a moment with this guy, because we've not really... I don't know. Feels like we've not had any sort of like one-on-one time with this person. Where'd you move to? To Moscow? Oui, but not immediately. First we went to Tver, lived there for a year, and then moved to Moscow. What about you? Did you go to university there? Yeah, I lived in a dorm for a while, then started renting an apartment with a friend. Parents like to talk about how they are going to move, but each time they decide that they don't want to sell the house. Somewhat understand them. They put so much effort into it. But in general, I myself am not eager to live in the same city and see them all the time. Our relationship is not the same as it was. Ophelia. So, here we turn left. I ignored Mark's briefing, so I was glad that Andre memorised the route. Who do you think could have done it? Done what? Like, with Lena. Well, that was a strange bark I made there. About a month after the body was found, everyone who had anything to do with the school talked about the murder. Students, parents, teachers, security, janitors. But after some time, interest began to fade, and people started to talk about the murder rarely and reluctantly. Only strict mothers forbidding their daughters to walk in the evening would say, "Do you want to repeat Lena's fate?" Since then, I've discussed this topic only once at the classmates' gathering, and even then I did not share any opinions and did not answer questions. I just listened to versions of varying degrees of absurdity. Couldn't say that for a moment then. I don't know. If I had any guesses, I would have reported them to the investigators back then. Andre's interest about this case had a simple explanation. He and Lena were close friends. He, me and Roma, Lena's boyfriend, were interrogated first. Roma and Andre even accused each other, probably due to the fact that Roma was jealous of Lena, tried to prohibit them from communicating and generally treated Andre with hostility. And Andre, it seems, decided to get back on him and accused him too. Just going to say it right now, but from what we've heard of this Roma, if he's seriously trying to stop his girlfriend from having contact with other people, just going to say, sounds a bit controlling. I was involved in this story because I found the body when I was walking my dog. They interrogated me multiple times, you should remember, and I told them everything I know. I understand, but I'm not asking you to testify, just to share your thoughts. I tried to remember the details. When it became clear that Lena had been raped before her death, the investigators checked all the boys from our class. However, they didn't find anyone whose genetic material matched the one of the rapist. Well, it seems to me that it was a person who wasn't connected with the school, just some random man who attacked a defenceless girl. Do you think Lena would walk alone? Why wasn't she with Roma? Again, trying to sell the theory that Roma killed and raped her? Why would he do that if they were already having sex, as it turned out, and the biological material did not match? I was just asking. Lena wasn't a fan of walking alone as far as I remember, especially in the evenings. I'm not sure about that. I'm not in the mood to I'm not in the mood to argue. Anyway, this case is unlikely to ever be solved. Andre didn't respond. It seems that he's still worried about this story, or I opened an old wound with my careless words. Forgive me, I didn't mean to hurt you. It's all right, Kira. Better tell me about yourself. About myself? What do you want to hear? Something about the present, not the past. For example, how are you on the personal front? Will it crash this time? Nope. Russian euphemism used to ask about a person's romantic relationships, mostly used by elder people. Well, I had a feeling that's what it was going to be. I never liked the phrase, on the personal front. It seemed like something Soviet, and the question itself did not delight me either, but I decided to answer. Nothing much. After my breakup with Mark, I decided that I didn't need any relationships yet. I see. Now we turn here. It seemed to me that we were walking for too long. Andre, are you sure you remember the way? Of course. What about you? Well, I don't. What'd you do without me? I hope you know the way. I hope you're not leading me into some fucking weird trap here. We turned around some hill. Our makeshift camp had fallen off the grid a long time ago, but now I couldn't see anything at all in that direction. Are you tired? Yeah, it's all because I'm hungry. I don't usually get tired so quickly. Want to have a seat? Sure. I took out a blanket that I providently brought with me. For a second I felt like a real strategist. Are you cold? Just a little. I can help you to warm up. Do you want me to? I thought that Andre had a decent sense of humour. I tried to figure out if this joke has a punchline. I don't quite understand what you're talking about. What are you talking about, dude? Are you hitting on Kira? Is that what you're doing here? You know, there's one way to get warm when no one else is around. Okay, you know what? I take back everything I said about wanting to spend some time with you. I was probably happy not to spend time with you I would have been happy not to spend time with you. I knew you were going to do this. He put his hand on my knee and I creeped out. Andre, this is a very stupid joke. Stop it, I'm really on edge now. Oh god, that's a face. How long have you not had sex? You need to relax. I jumped up. Andre also got up. Andre, what the fuck do you mean by relax? Shut up and don't touch me. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay. Okay. I think he's led us off into a weird direction. He's getting us isolated, that's what he's doing. Man. Okay, this game's not afraid to deal with some real deep subject matter by the looks of it. Don't you dare talk back to me. You'll do what I tell you. Oh god. He started choking me with the right hand, while his left hand was now was on my hip. Do you understand me? Let me go. He tightened his grip. Answer. Understand. My voice turned into a muffled rattle and sounded as if from afar. If you want to live, then don't you dare resist. Okay, maybe I should ditch the silly French accent, because it's quite a serious topic here that we're about to see. He loosened his grip a little. Andrew, let me go. Let's return to the plane and forget about it. I won't tell anyone, I promise. Weird that you suddenly switched to Andrew, the English version of Andre. What's that about? Are you playing hard to get, whore? Oh god. I think this is... Obviously this is uncomfortable. It's discomforting because there are tons of people out there who are like this in the world. You know, guys who would treat women in this way. Oh, Jesus. Is that a playing hard to get thing again? My fear gave way to anger. I sank my nails into his hand, but he only tightened the grip. A second later I received a slap in the face and the ringing in my ears deafened me for a while. Don't do anything stupid or I'll kill you. He took a self-made knife from his pocket and held it to my throat. Look, I came prepared. My body went limp. My hands seemed too weak. I tried to think of a way to free myself, but I couldn't think straight. I froze up. Meanwhile, he unzipped his flight. Jesus. Christ, this is going all the way, is it? Okay, I think we are literally about to get a scene of something pretty fucked up here. I didn't react. Now my head was filled with a strange detachment. I didn't understand what he wanted from me. Didn't you hear me? Stop playing hard to get, bitch. He pulled my hair. I repeat it one last time even. Get on your knees and start. He put a little pressure on the knife and I felt a faint but sharp pain that brought me out of my trance. I finally understood what was required of me. Oh god. Both of these are probably bad options, just saying. I feel like if I resist, he's going to kill me. But if I obey, we all fucking know what's going to happen. What do you do in this situation? Because the thing is, like, everybody has heroic ideas in their mind that if they were in a situation where they were being threatened by someone, everyone has heroic images that they would resist and they fight back. But the reality is often different. When this kind of situation comes up on you, you just go into survival mode. And quite often survival mode isn't necessarily just fight or flight. Sometimes it's also freezing up in fear and just doing what someone says, if that means that you stay alive. Oh, I'm going to save, because I'm kind of worried. Okay, right. Also, I just need to jump cut for a second, just to take a moment. Hold on, because I've got something, actually, come to think of it, I just need to sort out. This is coming up toward 8 in the evening. Okay, back in. Just had to get onto the phone with Phil and all that, because he's coming down to visit me, down in south over here in the UK. Alright, oh god, I don't know what to pick here. Like I say, I feel like both of these options are potentially going to end quite badly. Just going to take that sound down a little bit so I can hear myself. Alright, you know what? We're going to resist and just hope that this doesn't result in a character dying or a bad ending. Suddenly I felt angry. Why did this asshole even think he can give me orders? Even if I obey, he can still kill me later. Therefore, it's necessary to act now while he does not expect any resistance. Okay, I'll do what you say. Just put the knife away, it hurts. Don't talk my ear off. Andre pretended not to hear my request, but still moved the knife a little way away from my throat. That was enough. Without wasting a second, I bit his hand holding the knife. At the same time, I hit him in the face, aiming my nails at his eyes. The element of surprise worked, and Andre screamed in pain, dropping the knife. This was my only chance. I tried to grab the knife that had fallen on the snow. However, Andre quickly regained control of the situation. He also rushed towards the knife and managed to grab my hand, stopping it 2 or 3 centimetres from the weapon. However... Oh. Wait, was that not just the same line? I didn't want to do it, but you made me. Andre and I were the same height. He was skinny, frail, and not athletic. And yet I had no chance against him, since he was much stronger, and that's only because he's a man. It's stupid, but the last emotion I experienced was not fear, but bitterness. I tried to get up, but Andre came at me and pinned me to the ground. For a second I caught his mad look, after which he stabbed my throat. What? Son of a bitch! So now we have to play from the perspective of this guy? What? We lost it. How? No. Wait. No. No, hold on. Wait. Ugh. Can we... What happens if you obey? Does he still kill you anyway? I kind of want to know. Because I feel like we just got a bad end there. No, you know what? No. We're not going to change. We've made the choice. We made the decision, and it was the wrong decision. So, I guess now we have to just go for it. We have to stick with our decision. We've made it. I was cold and tired, but I kept walking. I didn't know where I was going or how much longer I have to wander, but I knew one thing for sure. I shouldn't return to the plane yet. First, I need to figure out what I'm going to answer when they ask me about Kira. So far, I had only one idea. She fell off a cliff. This version was not perfect, but still believable. Mark, that lanky smartass, is surely going to suspect something and ask me where exactly it happened. So I need to find a cliff that I can show him. They will, of course, look down and try to see Kira's corpse there. When they fail, someone will assume that it was covered with snow, and the others will agree. The main thing is that the cliff should be sheer enough so that no one gets an idea to go down. There was a small cliff next to me, but it was clearly not what I was looking for. It's a piece of cake to go down it. Besides finding the cliff, I had another difficult task. I had to get rid of the blood, or to come up with an explanation about where it came from. Both the coat and the shirt were completely soaked in Kira's blood. I can try to go back to the camp at night and quickly change my clothes while everyone is asleep, but it was too risky, because if someone hears and wakes up, then I'm finished. The situation was almost hopeless, and it was my own fault. I didn't expect Kira to resist and fail to kill her without getting dirty. It seemed to me that she would act frightened and obedient, just like Lena. I was wrong. Right. What's your bet then that Andre is the one who killed Lena? Well, actually, I think that line pretty much confirmed it, did it not? That previous line? Can we go back to it? Yeah, just like Lena. Is that basically the confirmation he was the one who killed her? Looking around, I realised that I was in an unfamiliar place. Getting lost was the last thing I needed now. After wandering a little more, I found myself at the entrance to some cave. Maybe there I can find an abyss into which Kira could have fallen. I need to check. Uh-oh. Is this the bunker entrance? Uh-oh. I went inside and saw something I didn't expect at all. Boria? What are you doing here? I need to act natural, but I also shouldn't be too calm. After all, I recently witnessed a fatal accident. Hi, Boria. What are you doing here? Andre, I'm so happy that you found us. Nastya and I got lost and couldn't find our way back to the plane. Then we came across this cave. Have you not noticed the blood? And where is Nastya? She's sleeping. We were very tired and decided to rest here for a while, and Nastya even managed to fall asleep. What are you doing here? I put on a serious expression and was ready to start the story, but Boria interrupted me. He noticed the blood on my clothes. Andre, where is Kira? Wasn't she supposed to be with you? Kira slipped and fell off a cliff. And what is it? Blood. I heard a scream from afar and ran towards her, but I tripped and fell on the rocks. I could have saved her. I'll never forgive myself for that. Oh god. Do we really have to play as this asshole? Oh, I'm not happy about that. Oh. Uh-oh. Are you guys gonna die? Blood. Blood. I heard a strange voice. blood. Blood. Someone was repeating the word blood. My brain quickly came up with an explanation. The voice belonged to Nastya, and it sounded strange because she was talking in her sleep. However, this had to be dismissed when I saw Nastya's sleepy, frightened face. Did you hear that too? Look! Boria pointed to something behind me and I quickly turned around. My terror numbed me. It stood motionless for a while looking at us. I could probably try to run away, but one look at it, or should I say at her, was enough to understand that running away wasn't an option. As if to confirm my words, she overcame the distance between us in an inhuman leap. Oh God! Bad ending? Too hot? Your choices led to a bad ending. In order to continue, try other options. Oh boy! Oh, it's taking us here. So that was the bad ending. If you resist, old Andre fucking kills Kira, wanders off, discovers Boria and Nastya in a cave, and presumably all three of them die. Alright, so I guess we have no choice, we have to obey. I didn't stand a chance. Either suffer this humiliation, or be killed. I silently knelt down. Oh God. I do not know how long it lasted. Maybe 5 minutes, maybe several hours. The former is more likely. I wanted to do something about that disgusting taste in my mouth. I wanted to eat snow, but I didn't, so as not to anger Andre. Yeah, I think I'm, however I split the footage for this, I probably am going to want to put a trigger warning just on these episodes to highlight that this game does deal with some pretty fucking heavy stuff. There was the fucking, all the political stuff before, the characters calling out the other ones for their sort of, xenophobic views. But also now there's this. I mean, then again, this is a horror game. It's a psychological horror, so of course it's going to deal with some pretty heavy stuff. He was sitting next to me and patting me on the back. You did a good job. Oh, fuck off. Almost like, oh, God. I don't want to read that out. You can read that, ladies and gentlemen. I was silent. His words sounded as if from far away. Lena was also obedient, but I couldn't trust her. Small town is not the same as the Altai Mountains, Oh yeah, I guess this is your favourite ground, is it? Nobody around to stop you? I was surprised by his words about Lena. This revelation did not cause me any emotions at all. The most disgusting part was buying sperm from a next-door junkie in order to substitute the biological material during the examination. Before I left, he asked for more money. He threatened to turn me in. I really hate blackmailers. I had to speed up his departure from this world. It's good that he's not a girl from a wealthy family and nobody gave a fuck about him. I was shaking, but tried to handle it. Are you cold again? My brain reacted instantly, like it was a conditioned reflex. No. Okay, I'm tired now anyway, and it's time to return anyway. He stood up and helped me to my feet by pulling me by the arm. Come on, stop staggering, we can't get busted, otherwise we won't be able to have fun anymore. I tried to pull myself together. If anyone finds out, I'll kill you in the cruelest way I can think of. First you, and then the one you tell. Got me? I nodded. Let's go back. It's a pity we couldn't find anything today. He went ahead and I silently followed him. Okay. Chapter 9, Nick. Please tell me they're going to fucking deal with Andre and get rid of him. Ooh. It's the interrogation scene. I was glad it was finally over. The interrogation wasn't as stressful as I feared, but I was still very tired. Hickey and I went down to the underground passage in front of Lena's house. There was rarely anyone walking there because it was dirty in the passage. The street was narrow, and it was easier to just run across it, but Lena didn't like it, and she always used the passage, and taught me to do it too. As we went downstairs, Hickey started to pull me towards a dark corner. I didn't pay any attention to it at first, but Hickey was dragging me there very persistently, and I got curious about what she found there. Did you realise that this is Lena? No. However, I did realise it was a human body. I didn't even figure out whether they were alive or dead. I just pulled Hickey off, called an ambulance and ran out of there. I love games. Horrors, for example. In general, I'm not a big fan of horror fiction. Of the books in this genre, I only like some of King's works, and all horror films seem to be just unscary and ridiculous. Okay, I know we've read that before, but I felt like reading it out again. But horror games are different. That adrenaline rush that you get while walking through a long, seemingly endless corridor, listening to dismal music and expecting death at any moment, is something else. It seems that it is the interactivity that makes horror games so scary, when it depends solely on your actions, whether you fall into the clutches of a monster. You begin to empathise with the character, getting used to the role. Oh, this was the old woman, wasn't it? Okay, boy, help me up, please. Lisa said that you shouldn't get up, Vera Grigorievna. It's funny that you address her by her full name. The woman looked around, then turned to me and started speaking in a conspiratorial voice. She is not there yet, and I want to go out to get some air. Please help me. In a way, I understood how she felt. Ever since I got sick, Lisa has been making sure I don't leave the plane. These 2 days I did nothing but sleep and talk with the wounded. This time was enough for me to start envying those who are now walking on wet, cold snow. Even this was much better than being locked in a small, stuffy, smelly place. The hardest part was when the others left to look for luggage. When they did, I had to stay with Lisa and the old grouchy couple. You fell the last time you tried to get up. Maybe it's better not to risk it. She just decided to kill herself because she's tired of all this. I was so used to the squabbles of this couple that I even stopped paying attention to them. This time everything will be fine. I feel like my legs got stronger. I felt sorry for her, but I decided not to get involved. Last time she fell, Vadim and Vitya tried hard to lift her without causing any new injuries. And if she falls now, Lisa and I will have to lift her. I'm not at all sure that we can handle it. While I was thinking about how to politely refuse Vera Grigorievna, Lisa managed to return. This was very helpful since I'd never had a decent excuse in my head. Are you all fine? It seemed that when Lisa was spending a few minutes outside of the plane, she then felt guilty for leaving her patients. Lisa dear, I want to get up. I'm very tired of lying like this. You shouldn't, Vera Grigoriev... can't say it. Your leg is not yet in a condition to stand up. She sighed heavily, but didn't argue. Come here then, please. Lisa went up to Vera and she whispered something in Lisa's ear. Oh, after that, Lisa headed towards me, looking embarrassed. Nick, could you leave the plane for just a few minutes? I'll call you when you come back. It seems that Vera wants to go to the toilet. On the very first day of my illness, I informed Lisa that I was not going to pee in the bedpan, or rather in one of the bottles that played its role. She grumbled something about the fact that even a few minutes in the cold would make me feel worse, but in the end she gave in and allowed me to leave the plane from time to time. The very fact that we had such a conversation didn't make any sense. Gentle and non-confrontational, Lisa would become an unquestioning dictator when it came to her medical duties. By the way, I want to walk a bit to clear my head. 15 to 20 minutes. Are you nuts? I feel much better, don't worry. Why are you taking risks? The symptoms may get worse. Oh, come on, Lisa. It'll make me feel worse if I continue to sit here. I'm already sick of it. Probably my words could sound harsh for the prisoners of this cell. I'm recovering, at least, and they'll stay here until the rescuers find us. Oh, Tolik, there's another character here. Let him go, Doctor. Staying here is torture. In addition to the constantly fighting elderly spouses, there was another injured person who was conscious. However, it was easy to forget about Tolik, since he slept a lot and rarely spoke. Correct, we're all going to rot here anyway, why bother with illness? Usually, Lisa was very annoyed by the pessimistic remarks of Innocenty Igorevich, but now the only thing on her mind was how to handle me. Okay, Nick, if you don't feel like being sane and careful, and go. Just don't go too far from the camp, deal? Deal. Ever since our first meeting, it seemed to me that Lisa was showing something like maternal care towards me. I thought it was because of the age difference. It really pissed me off. Now, after being locked up for 2 days, I realised that she acts like this with almost everyone. When I got out, the first thing I did was take a deep breath. After the plane, which constantly stank of urine and sweat, breathing in the clean mountain air was incredible. After a couple of minutes, I finally got enough of the fresh air and began to think about my next steps. At first, I felt like taking a walk next to the plane, as I promised Lisa, but then, for some reason, I decided to look for luggage. This decision was not rational. On the contrary, I was almost sure that I would not find anything. The places nearby had already been searched, and I could not go far now. And yet, an incomprehensible feeling suggested that it was worth trying. I remembered how, after several defeats in some video game, I started a new match, being sure that this time I would be lucky. Now the desire to try was also too strong, and the voice of reason could not drown it out. Having convinced myself that there would be no harm from a small hike, I walked in a random direction. Uh-oh. That's the fucking cave, dude! I wandered for about 15 minutes, managed to freeze, and of course found nothing. Finally, I decided to give up. Logic triumphed over intuition, or should I say, over the Inland Empire. Now, spending time in the plane didn't seem like such a bad thing. Anything is better than trembling with a cold, looking out for who knows what in this white desert. Are we going to find Boria and Nastya in the cave again, but will something change? But before returning to the plane, I decided to take a thorough look around. What if I'm missing something? After all, we didn't immediately notice the suitcases that time we found them. Suddenly, some footprints caught my attention. Most likely it was I who left them while walking around here in circles, but in some way they looked weird. Then, after looking closely, I uttered a cry of surprise. No, these tracks were clearly not mine. These were the footprints of an animal, small and four-legged, and it had 5 fingers on its paws. Not that this is very unusual. The tracks could belong to some large rodent, or, for example, a raccoon. I recalled the conversation with Tonya and Kira. What if I was right then? But I had no idea how it was able to survive here. If it is endemic, then this must mean that it lives separately from its pack in a harsh mountain climate, far from forests and water. And if it ended up here as a result of a crash, just like us, then this is even more strange. 8 days have already passed since the fall. What pet will be able to survive for so long in a completely unfamiliar, hostile area? These thoughts made me uncomfortable. I felt dizzy, and I had an unpleasant sensation in my stomach. It used to happen to me before exams for which I did not prepare. But soon my thoughts were interrupted by another observation. A few metres from the small footprints, I noticed larger ones. Took me just one look to be horrified. These footprints matched those of humans in shape and size, but these were not the usual footprints that can be seen in the snow in the city. The person who left them did not wear shoes. It could still be explained somehow. For example, a passenger who took off his shoes during the flight did not find them after the crash and was forced to walk barefoot. But how to explain the fact that in addition to the footprints, this chain also contained handprints? Sorry, chain? Oh, you mean the chain of, like, prints? Yeah, there are handprints. And no, it could not be an injured passenger who had to crawl, because then I would have seen knee marks. It was someone who moved confidently on all fours, placing only his feet and hands on the ground. I got a knot in my stomach. Judging by the recency of these footprints, the one who left them is unlikely to have gone very far. But it also meant that if I wanted to, I could follow the tracks and find their owner. This feels... No. Dude. Question is, do I really want it? Okay. Alright. Hold on. I have a feeling that following the footprints probably will take us to another bad end. But let's see. Follow the footprints. Let's do it. Curiosity got the better of fear. I quickly figured out in which direction this creature was moving. Holding my breath and trying not to miss a single sound, I cautiously followed the footprints. However, after about 200 metres, disappointment awaited me. Judging by the tracks, the creature climbed up a sheer cliff. In addition to disappointment, I also felt relief. What if it's aggressive? And if it can climb rocks like Spider-Man, I'm unlikely to escape from it if it decides to attack. I turned around and was about to leave, but I suddenly heard something. It sounded like a purr. Preparing for the worst, I slowly turned around. What? Well, that's not what I was expecting. Instead of a terrible monster, I saw a small furry animal. The creature seemed strange but not dangerous. I'd even call it cute. I'm glad I found you and not the one who left the bigger footprints. The little beast listened to me attentively, as if trying to understand what I was saying. Want to come with me? Really? You're just going to take it with you? You don't even know what it is? I held up my hand and the animal sniffed it. However, instead of following me, it headed somewhere itself. Hey, where are you going? It stopped, waiting for me to follow. Fine, let's go. You can show me your burrow. The little beast kept a safe distance from me, but at the same time did not let me out of sight. This took a direction that I wasn't expecting. Soon it stopped at what looked like the entrance to a cave. So this is your home. I wonder if there are any others of your kind who live there. After some thought, I followed my new friend into the cave. Uh-oh. Oh. Wait, is that... That wasn't like a chapter? Is this... Did it say epilogue? Ah, Borea. Nick, Borea? What are you doing here? Were you supposed to stay in the plane? I was, but I decided to walk a little bit and... What is this thing? Have you found yourself a pet? Borea noticed the monster who was sitting down next to me and listening to our conversation. I found it not far from here and it led me to this cave. Do you know what kind of animal this is? Looks like a monkey but with alien's ears. And purrs like a cat. So cute. Nastia looked as if she had just woken up. Nastia and I got lost and couldn't find our way to the plane, and then we came across this cave. You even had time to sleep? Only Nastia. She was very tired. Have you seen anything unusual here? Maybe some strange animals? Other than your new friend? No. Can I pet it? You ask as if I've already tamed it. I tried to lift the monster. It didn't resist. I was happy that the little beast liked me. It's widely believed that animals are friendly only to good people. And then you say you haven't tamed it. Nastya tried to pet the animal, but it whined and tried to escape. It doesn't seem to like me. Nastya moved away, but the monster kept making strange noises. I think... Is it sensing something horrible? It's not your fault. I think it's just scared. Nick, let it go. I like to believe that the animal had somehow chosen me as its master, so I kept holding it. Nick, the poor thing is scared. Stop torturing it. I've almost accepted the fact that I'd have to let my new pet go. I was ready to put it on the ground, but it decided to speed things up and bit my hand. I dropped it with a cry of pain and the monster fled from the cave. Does it hurt? Yeah, my hand bleeds. It wasn't really cute after all. You should have let it go earlier. Let's get back to the plane as soon as possible so that Lisa can examine Nick. What if this animal is poisonous and Nick gets infected from the bite? Yeah, PSA, ladies and gentlemen, don't handle wild animals. Okay? Wild animals are probably fucking terrified of you and, you corner them and probably bloody bite at you. What will Lisa do? She doesn't have any medicines, she doesn't know what kind of animal it is and what it could infect me with, but I still like the idea of returning back to the plane. You remember the road, right? Of course. We're lucky that you found us. Let's go then. Okay, but give me a minute. I decided to check if the monster is somewhere nearby, just in case. I really wanted to show it to the guys in the plane. When I came out of the cave, I saw something that didn't look like a cute fluffy animal. It was a human who stared at me. Uh-oh. Rio? Oh no, blood. Or rather, it was someone who resembled a human. There were too many differences. Long limbs, unnatural posture, a strange voice, and most importantly, an absolutely insane bestial look. The uncanny valley effect worked, and I screamed in horror. It seems that my scream only made her angry. Her look became ferocious, and she covered the distance between us in one leap. Bad ending cat's death! Dang it! Okay. We're actually right on top of that thing here. Okay, so someone committed suicide here. Good to know. Emergency exit do not block. Oh god. Right. What is... Yeah, that's a fucking body. It's just hanging there. Lovely. Well, are you going to do anything if I get my robo-zoomy eyes on you? You're going to suddenly lurch forward to the camera? There. Like that. Okay, no, I don't think so. I think we're alright for the moment. God, what is this room? Oh, Jesus. Is that something else? Yes, it is. Okay. Today a story about the apartment blocks residing nearby the grain mill production factory. Residents have been complaining about an increase in noise from the factory even though it's been abandoned for many years.